maintain their security and sovereignty. But previously, they were used to being governed by undemocratic regimes without any political representation. Currently, the Oromo people are independent and organized both culturally and politically using the Gadaa system to promote their well-being and to maintain their security and sovereignty. But previously, they were used to being governed by undemocratic regimes without any political representation. Currently, the Oromo have the Gadaa system, which was inscribed in the UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Gadaa system is an indigenous socio-political democratic system of the Oromo people that regulated political stability, social activity, cultural obligation, moral responsibility, the philosophy and the religious order of the society. It is the traditional system of governance of the Oromo people that has developed from knowledge gained over generations. The Oromo Gada system has been taking a form of confederation federation that has formed to maintain their political and cultural solidarity and to defend their security and interest. While the Geda system were weakened in some parts of the Oromo people, some elements of the Oromo democratic values still exist in areas where the Geda system was suppressed. In its modified form, the system is still highly practiced among the Borana, Guji, Karayu, and the Tulama Oromo clans, helping and maintaining peace, exchanging knowledge of society, and practicing ritual activities, and it's also on the restoration phase among Sikh Commando, Mecha, and other Oromo clans. The Geda system, which has elected leaders within each generation and the orderly succession to various positions of political office, has also been dividing power among clans and sub-clans and gives opportunity to every member of each, except to be trained, share experience, and play significant roles turn by turn. Participation was a symbol of belongingness. The Oromo had common Geda government with a relative freedom for the different major groups. For instance, during the 16th century, there had been two powerful confederacies, the Macha and the Tulama. They had a common Geda government and a common law. The headquarters of the Geda government was at Odanabe, around Dukam town, about 30 kilometers west of Infinity, the capital. Yet, each subclans had freedom to deal independently with its internal affairs. Later, due to certain internal and external pushing factors, such as an increase in both the human and the cattle populations, the Macha established another confederacy. The same history holds true among the Guji Oromo in southern Oromia regional states that are still practicing Geda confederacy. The Guji have been practicing the Geda system in the form of confederation among three major clans: Uraga, Mati, and Hoku. Members of the confederacy are all self-dependent and have full authority. The entire Guji have a common Geda center located at Meeboko. Since the beginning of the Guji Geda, Meeboko has existed as a well-known sacred place. Yet, all three groups have their own independent Geda councils with their respective ritual grounds and their leaders. Each council of the three clans perceives itself as independent but works closely with each other on common purposes that affect the entire Guji. Past their autonomy, the Guji Geda is governed by the same Geda law, which can only be said by the Gumi Boko, often called Meboko, during the power transfer ceremony.
Marro aadaa fiiti adoo yoo bulan namni sirba Oromoon Gujii waan jedhu namni sirba abbaa qabu sirbu kafii wallaalaa jedhan.
When we transfer the Gada power, we bless each other, pray for the coming Abagada, Gada leader, wishing him to have a successful Gada period. By eating together, the cultural food prepared for the Gada power transfer ceremony only. It has the meaning equal is to we are with you and I let you to lead me. In the power transfer ceremony, no one thinks about the disagreement between them. What makes the Gada system and the Abagada different from the political leaders in the modern politics is he's not the only person who decides on the fate of the people, and he is not leading only the politics matters, rather he is an individual who comes first on every social and cultural matters of the people.
The Geda has comprised a hierarchy of triple levels of government: the national, the regional, and the local. The national government was led by elected Luba Council, formed from representatives of the major Oromo clans, families, and sub-clans. Under the presidency of Abba Geda and his two deputies, the national leadership was responsible for such important matters as legislation and enforcement of general laws, handling issues of war and peace, and coordinating the nation's defense, management of intra-Oromo clans conflicts, and dealing with non-Oromo people.
We do not know when the Oromo started the Gadaa system. We know only the Gadaa merged with the human beings and nature. That's why it had the full and well-structured political, social, and religious governance system. Previously, the Oromo was governed by one Gadaa, while leadership at all and the Gadaa leader paired their clans. But that's not many as today. What we are observing today does not seem the Gadaa system structure. There is no Gadaa at zonal and district levels.
All Gada officials were elected for 8 years, and the system organized the male Oromos according to age sets based on chronological age and according to generational says Luba. Based on genealogical generation for social, political, and economic purposes, the Gada grade would be entered on the basis of generation, and the boys would enter their Luba 40 years after their fathers. The Gada system has a very logical structure.
Abbaan kalee kaayoo isaatiin abbaan isaa abbaa gadaa ta'eeru. Ilmi dhufee abbaa gadaa ta'e lafa lafatti.
Gadaa divides the stages of life from childhood to old age into a series of formal steps by learning what's permitted and what's forbidden by its values called safu. All those are amended on the Gadaa system, which is called customary law in the modern law that was consisted in the Oromo Gadaa system. This law is the law that creates habitual relationship between human being and the nature as well as natural environment. The human being have to have good interactions with themselves, with the plant and the wild animals. The Gadaa briefly puts how human beings live with nature, but now the vice versa of it is harming the natural environment.
The Gadaa system has principles of check and balance through predict succession of every 8 years, and the division of power among executive, legislative, and the judicial branches, balanced opposition among 5 parties, and the power sharing between higher and the lower administrative organs.
Gadaa is many things for the Oromo people. It is the grade during which a class of one Gadaa party takes power of leadership. Gadaa is the period of 8 years in which the elected Abba Gadaa takes power from the previous one and start their people, and it is the most important and aspired period for Oromo nationals.
Other principles of the system have included balanced representation of all clans, lineages, confederacies, accountability of the leaders, the settlement of disputes through reconciliation, and the respect for basic rights and the liberties. The Oromo, while living on this naturally created environment, gives appropriate respect for all living things and they use most of it for multiple Gadaa purposes. Due to this, the Oromo conserve natural environment. Gadaa has its own ceremonial grounds at which Gadaa-related events are hosted and conserves it. But today, some Gadaa cultural sites and ceremonial grounds are being affected by the lack of appropriate conservation work by concerned bodies. It is a huge impact in weakening the Gadaa system.
Many years ago, the Gadaa ceremonial ground were affected by many reasons. The first was related to political ups and downs we passed through, and that was among the major reasons in harming the Gadaa system. It is happened due to desire to weaken the Gadaa system by politicians in the past.
Ardajilas, Gadaa ceremonial grounds are the cultural place in which the Gadaa law is amended. The Gadaa law is not only about human being, rather it is all about nature.
Arda naga nage, liban naga nage, liban golba didi naga nage, tula salla naga nage, ladu shani naga nage, yabal garbi naga nage, so duboke naga nage, dublukdir naga nage, muyal golba didi naga nage, arero goro naga nage, goron oromo chena naga nage, gada naga nage, gada mojin karoba naga yat, ammega mijule fudanne garmudat yana.